G'day, welcome back to Backyard Shenanigans. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and that is make sauerkraut out of my own cabbages grown in my own garden here. So this is a good moment for me here on the channel, because I've been waiting for a while to get the opportunity to do this, and I'll show you this cabbage. It's ready to be picked. There's one there, another one over there. I'll get you guys and bring you up. Here we are, this is the cabbage we're looking at. I've been putting it off, I should say, for a while, as you see here, by this green, white cabbage moth caterpillar there. I saw a couple down in there. It's not a whopper, but tell you what, I'm happy with that, and I reckon the chickens are going to love it when I throw the the caterpillars to them. Like this little digger here. Cheeky bugger. Oh, here's the other one there. Cheeky buggers. There we go. You can see they've been having a chew there. But you see, that'll do. There's another one, just a little tinier one over here. There's this one, it's a bit worse for wear, a lot smaller. If not, with the compost, there's another one. And one more. One more in here. It's hard to see. I'll just reach in. I don't know if it's going to be any good. There we go. You can see it's got some stench to it, man. They stink when they go rotten, eh? But I reckon deep inside this one, I'll be able to. Oh, look, bit rotten on the arse end, but we'll be able to salvage some of that. We got one more little baby one here. I don't know what them bumps are on it, but. Yeah, this one may be too eaten out. As you see there, they're in there having a chew. But yeah, we'll see you in the kitchen, and I'll show you how I'm going to make sauerkraut out of these. All right, here we are. These are the cabbages we picked from the garden just before. We managed to salvage that one that was looking a bit rough and ready. There's a heap of water leaking out. So yeah, I've done a video on this before. So I think I'm going to call this one called Bogenkraut. This is how you make Bogenkraut, because that was one of the commenters reckoned I was making Bogenkraut. But doesn't matter who you are, it's good for you. So I'll take you step by step. I've been making sauerkraut for, I reckon, 2 years or more, eh? So I've settled on a pretty good method here. So if you haven't made it before, watch it through to the end, because this will be from the start to the finish style video. The beauty about this one is I've never made sauerkraut with my own cabbages before, so this is an added bonus. These ones, these cabbages, they're called, I'm not sure, I can't remember, but they're good for making sauerkraut. Alright, I'll show you this method that I've settled on. It's pretty good, because you know, most videos you watch where they cut the cabbage up, then they knead it, bash it till they get all the moisture out, and that's the juice that they ferment the cabbage in. Well, I've found there's a trick to it. It's just called time and patience. So this, I've found, is less kneading to the cabbage. So it requires less elbow grease, so to speak, to produce the same result if you cut it up and kneaded it all at once. So let's get that started, eh? 2.5% salt by weight you'll need for this recipe. Let's cut this cabbage open and see what it looks on the inside, eh? Yep, not perfect. That's how my last one was. Not real tight and dense on the inside. But remember, we're in southeast Queensland, so I don't know, that's what I blame it on. our warmer than normal winters that you probably get where you're growing cabbages. Anyway, so yeah, remember that 2.5% by weight is what you want to salt the kraut at. That's important. 2%, you know, you can drop the salt content, but as I've learned, the higher the salt percentage is the more forgiving it's going to be in regards to mold formation. So if you're fermenting something for the first time, like I'm making kraut for the first time, you're going to want to do it at least 2.5% percentage of salt by the total weight of your cabbage that you chuck into your dish. So we got 1.466, so 1.4 kilograms worth of cabbage in here, 1.466. So I'm going to put 2.5% salt by weight into here. I'll let you know what that is in a second. 36.6 grams of salt we need to chuck in here. Alright, so we got the 36 grams here. So literally all I'm going to do is sprinkle this 36 grams on top of the cabbage. I'm going to mix it through with this spoon here just a little bit, just to get the salt incorporated into this cabbage. And then we're just going to let it sit for a good half an hour to an hour. And that salt, it will draw the moisture out of the cabbage like as if you were kneading the cabbage. So it takes a bit of effort out of it, I reckon. This is what it looks like. So yeah, a bit of salt everywhere. Will be interesting to see what this looks like when we come back. I'm just going to put this aside and let it do its thing. This has been a good hour or so. As you can see, it's, you know, it's just sunk down a fair bit. And it's gone softer. And as you can see in the bottom there, let's look at all that water. So that's the salt doing what salt does. It draws or attracts moisture to itself. And so now, this here is pretty much done. I'll just have to give it a tiny knead and then whack it in the jar. I'll show you that jar. So all I'm going to do now is we'll get the jar, we'll put it inside the jar and the jar inside the bowl. Oh, I've got a bit of adventurous there on that first bit. There we go, getting there. Give that a good old push down with the fistage. See the liquid now is pretty much almost going to cover this. I reckon that we'll be able to get away with not having to use any extra liquid. Do now, so I'll try to film it side on. See these leaves that I got? We're gonna keep layering them in this jar. Here's another one. So we're getting these leaves and we're just pressing them down so that the leaves are between the kraut and the air, because we don't want the air touching the cabbage bag. This is a medium sized one. And I'm going to jam this inside the lid and I'm going to fill it up with water, and that's going to create a bit of a airlock style. I'm pretty sure that that will be fine with this. See, this is adding a bit of weight to the top. You can also make this into a brine solution in case the bag bursts or pops or runs into the liquid below. You'll see now is the liquid has now gone up above the, what we call that, the cabbage line. Bits of cabbage are still out, but these bits don't matter so much. There you go. You're back here, either during the fermentation or when it's gone, when it's done. I guess have a good look at this, how it is now, and then you'll see what it's like when it's done. Okay, it's been at least 2 weeks now since we put this sauerkraut in this jar down here. I'll just bring it out. Here it is. all fermented up. We didn't get much spillage at all, none at all. I normally overfill them a little bit. So I'll bring you over, we'll have a closer look. So that's it there. It's like a off-whitish looking colour. Bit of like a mouldy looking stuff up the top here. Not too nice looking, but all that's sitting on top. We'll get that out. It's been bloody hot, so when it gets hot, the fermentations get a little bit out of control, I find, because it just speeds up so much. And I think a lot of this wasn't sitting too good under the liquid. So, yeah, it's not one of my better ones, unfortunately, seeing as I've used my own bloody cabbages. It's smelling very, like, musty, man. We'll give it a good old mix up. That'll help it. And then we'll have a taste test so you guys can see what my facial expression's gonna be when I taste it. It's always a little bit like nervy. Alright, so let's get some of this in the gob. Yeah, that's smelling nice and yeah, krauty, if you know what kraut smells like. Like a pickle smell. Bloody good. Can't complain with that. And, well, I should say, she used to make a homemade, homegrown sauerkraut. This has been a goal of mine for many a year. Since I've started making it, I didn't think it was going to be possible. I was like, oh, me and cabbages, growing them in this climate in southeast Queensland, you got to time it right, or else the white cabbage moth butterfly gets you around this time of year. But I timed the growing of these perfect this year, and I planted them just at the end of the autumn, or the rain season we had, and crossed my fingers and hoped for the best, and they've just sort of really plumped up in the last month or two. So yeah, really good for you, hey? Good for the gut. You've got all the beneficial bacteria in it that we're missing in our foods that we eat these days. We don't eat any fermented food in our culture, in Australia, other than what we eat a bit of other yogurt. So this has got, I don't know all the strains in it, but it's got a lot of good stuff in it. So it helps with your what's that, microbiome in your gut, and that's what keeps you healthy, and what keeps you also happy. They've found a lot of the microflora in your gut is also responsible for your feelings of well-being and such. So it's that sort of stuff. Anyway, I better stop rattling on. I'll leave it with you guys. Thanks for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your time. I hope you learned something out of it. Have a go at fermenting your own kraut. I haven't had much success than with this. I've tried cucumbers to make some pickles and stuff like that. But I think my big advice for anyone new is start with 3 or 3.5% salt. The higher the salt concentration, the more forgiveness you got that you're not going to grow something nasty. Yeah, give it a crack. Start fermenting your own veggies and stuff. It's good for you.